Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Madam Secretary, for being here. As many of my colleagues on this committee have already mentioned, the President's health care law has continued to fail so many Americans. Over the past few weeks, I've hosted almost 20 town halls throughout Kansas, and folks back home often tell me how they face increased premiums with fewer options for care. 2016 premiums are expected to increase by 15 to 25% in my home state of Kansas. This simply is not right, especially in the face of a failed economic recovery. And I, along with my colleagues here, continue to work to replace Obamacare, repeal it, find proposals that drive competition, lower cost, and improve health care quality for all Americans. One particular provision of Obamacare that's especially cumbersome and drives up health care costs for everyday American is the requirement that individuals have a prescription from a physician in order to purchase over-the-counter medicine with their health savings accounts and flexible savings accounts. And I have worked on a bill, HR 1270, the Restoring Access to Medication Act, which would eliminate this unnecessary requirement that's both confusing and, frankly, it's just a waste of time for patients and physicians. And we've worked closely on this legislation now for 3 years with my colleague, Representative Kine from Wisconsin. When you testified in front of our committee last June, I asked if you would support us on this type of legislation. At the time, you indicated that you weren't familiar with the issue. Have you had a chance within the last year to review it now? And if so, would you support the legislation?
With regard to the issue in terms of driving down the costs in the over-the-counter prescriptions, I apologize in terms of the specifics of the legislation. We'll need to come back to you on that. In terms of the basic concepts of making things simpler and easier, we're working at that across the board, and whether it's the announcement that occurred yesterday with Walgreens about over-the-counter and naloxone and other drugs like that. So the concept of this is something that I think we want to continue to work on. With regard to the specifics, I will need to get back.
Okay, well, I believe this is just a real easy, common sense approach. It's bipartisan. If the administration would just take a look at it, it's kind of frustrating year after year after year to have you come before us as if you're not interested in looking for some of these common sense solutions to help all Americans, especially when they do have bipartisan support. So thank you. I yield back.
Thank you.